Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about the news that broke yesterday about Wes Ball, the director of the Maze Runner trilogy, is going to direct the Planet of the Apes movies for Disney. That's right, Disney has commissioned Fox to produce some new Planet of the Apes movies because, when they bought Fox, that was part of the package, and apparently they see it as a valuable franchise, just as I thought they would, because when they bought Fox, that was one of the properties I mentioned that would be getting sucked into Disney and probably even be put on Disney Plus at some point. I guarantee you. They're not up there yet, but they will make their way somehow in there. I just saw today there was an Ice Age Christmas special on Disney Plus, and I'm like saying, Ice Age isn't a Disney movie. Why is it up there? And then I realized, oh, that's right. The Ice Age films are produced by Fox. So there you go. We got Fox movies already sneaking their way. The Home Alone movies are already up there. So it's only a matter of time when the Planet of the Apes movies, because they're all PG-13, they'll eventually find their way up there as well. Even the last three, even though I think they dropped the F-bomb in the last two movies, they'll let them slide, and they'll put a warning saying that there's bad language in one scene. So, look, I think this is awesome. As long as these new films, if they are going to make a franchise, continue on with this franchise, as long as they will continue with the motion capture technology that the last three movies had. I consider the last three Planet of the Apes movies this one of the best trilogies of all time. Definitely in my top 10. I don't know exactly where. Maybe in the bottom part of my top 10. I would have to think about it a lot more. But it's definitely one of my favorite trilogies. And I thought Andy Serkis was terrific in that trilogy. And he could probably still come back and play a new character if they really want to keep him, especially to help out with the motion capture technology. Although I'm sure he's been passing that knowledge around throughout Hollywood. So, yeah, they really have to stick to that. But even if they do decide to break off from that original trilogy and decide to reboot it again, I think the last trilogy you can still connect to it and have it take place maybe 100 years into the future or something like that. They did set up stuff in that original trilogy that allows for a semi-reboot to be done. And when I say semi-reboot, I mean like a movie that takes place within that universe but has nothing to do with that story. So I hope they do go that way, because I think a lot of people are getting tired of these complete reboots that forget everything else that came and just starts all over fresh in you. I don't think you always need to do that. And I think with the Planet of the Apes movies, you can still maintain what has already been done while doing an all-new story set in that world. And I would like to see a 100 years later, what are the apes doing during that in that world, right? World where now they have pretty much taken over and humanity is slowly dying off. What would that be like in 100 years later? I think it would be interesting to set it around that time frame. Other than that, look, yeah, of course I want more Apes movies. I love the last three. I have gone back and watched the original films and grown. I don't love them, but I see the appreciation for them, especially in a corny factor kind of way. They are very cheesy, especially with today's standards. But if you look at them through that lens, I think you can appreciate them a little bit. They might be outdated for a lot of younger viewers, but I think if you appreciate all forms of film, I think you can appreciate those movies too. It's kind of like the James Bond franchise, how some kids today, they love the Daniel Craig movies. And believe me, the Daniel Craig movies is how I got into Bond. But I have gone back and rewatched the older films to see the history of those movies. And there are the old movies that I do see why those were popular back in the day, and because I can find something attractive about those older films too. So appreciate the old stuff. Never forget it, because there's history within that franchise, and even the mistakes they made in the past, they learn from today. That's how we got to where we are today with franchises like Bond and Planet of the Apes. So I don't want to get out of. I know there's a Bond trailer out there and it's fantastic, but let's remember this video is about Planet of the Apes. Yeah, totally looking forward to it. So I want to know if there are any other Planet of the Apes film fans out there, and if you are looking forward to what Disney's going to do. Do you think they should reinvent the wheel, or do you think what we got with the previous trilogy is something that they should stick with? So comment below if you want, and like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and until next time, take care.